Game time with you tonight. I am joined here with Dr. Young as well as the cross-country team. And I've got Emma Hennard and Peyton LeGrand and Lincoln Jackson here joining us. And Emma, if you could, go ahead and introduce the guys and girls behind us.
All right, behind us we have Trent, we have Jolie, Nate, Mark, Grayson, and Tristan at the very end.
Well, one of the things that I know about cross-country is I'm not going to run it. And so based on that, when did y'all start training for this year's season?
So we actually started in the summer, probably around June. I think since June we've been getting up since about 6 a.m. every day, getting to practice at 7. And we've continued throughout the entire summer and on to the school year up until now.
So y'all are the student athletes we see early in the morning running around.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Well, what is the distance that y'all run in cross-country for your meets?
For our meets, our girls, it depends on what state we're in. So for Texas, we'll run 2 miles, and then for Arkansas, we'll run 3 miles. But the boys run 3 in any state.
And what is considered a good pace on the girls' side for a 2 mile?
A good 2 mile would probably be around 13:30 to 13:40.
And then what about the boys on the 3?
It'd be, I'd say like between 18, like 19:30. It really just depends on like where you're at, really.
Yeah,
and
The
like
competition mainly.
Yeah.
The hills and like a bunch of factors, like if the humidity's high that day, stuff like that.
And speaking of competition, what's going on this weekend?
Wednesday is our district meet.
Okay, Wednesday.
Yes.
All right, district meet.
And yeah, we'll run and see if our guys can place and move on to regionals as a team or individuals. So yeah,
And so where does the district meet take place?
the meet is at Pittsburgh.
Okay. Now, who's your stiffest competition in district?
Pittsburgh. by far.
Pittsburgh. Okay. So they got home field advantage this time, right?
Yes, sir.
So what type of layout are they going to have? Is it going to be flat, or is it going to have some hills to it?
So,
I'd say it's pretty moderately flat at the start, but once you kind of get into it, there's some hills, but it's mainly flat. But we run at 3 o'clock, so it'll be kind of hot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the heat of the day.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
Mm-hmm.
So how's y'all's season been going so far?
Well, I mean, to start off the year, we had a new head coach, and we kind of told ourselves from the start that like things were going to change from the start and kind of from last year. And I feel like so far this year we've pretty much done that, and we've had a couple guys and girls kind of get injured and like come back and forth, and I feel like we've kind of proved ourselves from the start. But I guess district will kind of tell from the end.
And then speaking about y'all doing district and running district right at 3 o'clock, how have y'all been prepping for that?
So once a week or once or twice a week, we'll have afternoon practices where we'll go out and get miles in after school or whatever, and that's kind of like our basic heat training.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the practices we have in the morning, we'll do like your harder hills and aerobic stuff.
All right, so a little difficult question, but what do y'all think y'all's chances are for a win?
Are you talking about like
District.
first in district or going to regionals?
Well, let's say first in district first.
Ooh. For the guys, I wouldn't say very
Hard
high.
to say, huh?
Yeah.
I think-
Okay, what about making it to regionals?
I feel like
yeah.
we're pretty
Yeah,
good.
I think the guys will play second or third in district.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every race we've kind of proven ourselves and gotten better. So I feel like leading up to district we should do pretty good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sounds like you're kind of coming to a peak of
Yes, sir.
y'all's
Yes.
practice.
Yes, sir.
Well, I know when you're getting ready for district, getting ready for regionals, you want to try to time those personal best. How many of your runners do you think are going to be capable of being able to get their personal best?
I would say everybody.
I think everybody will. Our training schedule right now, we're on a taper, which means like we're going to bring down the mileage and keep the intensity up, so it'll give our bodies more time to rest. And I think that a lot of our team's time will drop like drastically. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So.
Well, we wish you a lot of success, and hopefully you'll be able to have plenty of personal best to be able to maybe eke that first position out. But I know at this step the goal is to get it to regionals.
Yes, sir.
And so, you know, I have a lot of faith in the fact that y'all can do that.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
so go Hawks, get to regionals at least, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back shortly with another segment.
Thank you.
We are excited to announce here at Texarkana Emergency Center and Hospital that we have expanded our capabilities to better serve our community. As a hospital, we have the capability for inpatient services. After your outstanding emergency care, we can smoothly transition you into one of our new inpatient rooms that have telemetry monitors in every room to continue your concierge medicine care. While our patients continue receiving their care in their inpatient suites, we also make sure that your loved ones are taken care of with our outstanding facilities. Our added services include a procedure room and also the capability of MRIs. With our imaging, we are able to offer outpatient, inpatient, and emergency room, MRI, CT, ultrasound, and X-ray. We are honored by your support and look forward to serving all your future medical needs.
You've spent years working hard to create your financial security. Reward yourself with a checking account designed specifically for you by a bank that shows you the outstanding level of customer service you deserve. With State Bank's Elite Checking, you can qualify for a competitive rate of interest, no monthly service fee, free checks, and superior customer service. Let State Bank be your bank for service, relationships, and living life to its fullest.
We are back for another segment of Texarkana Game Day pregame at Pleasant Grove versus Gilmer. Got joining us Mr. Waka. Mr. Young's already been on. We got the man Morgan Smith and of course
Dang,
Nick
you say it
Reed
with all the
here.
enthusiasm.
That's crazy.
So what are y'all thinking about the game and all the festivities that we've started out with today?
Man, this is that one when the schedule comes out, you circle it, you know you're going to be here, and you know it's going to be an exciting football game. Preseason, there was a lot of, let's say, doubters with Gilmer. Didn't know about the quarterback situation, and all you really had to do was look at the last name, and we all should have known. But, man, they're living up to expectations. They've had 2 weeks off coming into this game, which I think is a little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
As a former coach, I mean, they do that every year, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've actually ever heard of back-to-back weeks, bye weeks. But, I mean, honestly, from past experience, you'll see a lot of teams come out actually after bye weeks a little sluggish, a little tired, and then start to pick those things up. I mean, Pleasant Grove also had a bye week last week, so it'll be interesting to see. I don't know how much you actually can get done in 2 weeks of bye weeks or actually what you do during those. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
I think it says a lot just how important this game is. Like, Gilmer knows how important it is.
Oh, no doubt.
And I'm walking around pregame over here. Coach Weston Griffin, head coach at Spring Hill. You got Coach Kerry Lane, was the head coach at Pine Tree, which historically the Pine Tree program has just never been good at football. They were playing for it when he was there. Great football coach. I'll see him over here at Gilmer. I forgot he was over here. There's 4 former head football coaches on this staff right now, and they're good.
Oh, yeah.
Let's know a lot about it. Gilmer's a good football team.
Most definitely, and I think that speaks to the 2 weeks off when you really start looking at the coaching staff. Giving that a team like that 2 weeks off, Pleasant Grove's really going to have to come in here and play their best football game to come out with the win here. But I think they can do it because you've got a lot of guys who haven't really hit that stride that we've seen them hit in the past few years. You know, they have the running game's been going hard with Spencer Danner, but there's a couple other guys that we haven't seen produce what they've normally done. And Coach Gibson said all week, this is the week we're going to break everything out. So maybe this is the week we see some guys that we're used to calling their name. This is the week that we see the number.
You know, and the thing that gets us that we talked about this morning is that this is their district opener, and it already feels like a playoff game. And it is in a sense because you got some of the top teams in this division going for it on their first opener of the district.
And there's a good chance whoever wins tonight's going to take that first seed and be the district champ, you know, at the end of the season. And, you know, one of the things that I want to see is, does Gilmer come in a little sluggish? And if Pleasant Grove can get a score or two on them, I'm interested in seeing Tennyson and seeing if he can handle that adversity. He's looked great all season long, but they haven't really been pressured early. And so it'll be interesting to see Jamin Wheeler, you know, what he can do from the outside, what Victor Shaw can do to the outside to sort of interrupt that. And, you know, we mentioned the last name Tennyson. Everybody's, you know, well aware of that. Well, we've also got Flew Allen. So him coming in as wide receiver is going to be pretty impressive. I think last year he had 15 catches and over 300 yards and 2 TDs against Pleasant Grove. in the 2 games last year. So he's he definitely is going to be a marked man on the defensive side for Pleasant Grove.
Yeah, Llewellyn's a top 100 kid in the state of Texas. One of the best football players in 4A, I would say hands down. Like him and the Carthage wide receiver, probably the 2 best wide receivers in 4A football. Man, Pleasant Grove has all the pieces. Gilmer has all the pieces. This has all the feels of 2019 Carthage Pleasant Grove right here.
Oh, yeah.
Like it really does. I mean, we did the morning a game day at the Grove this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Young, you were there the first time we did that.
That's
you
right.
Remember it? We did.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, and there was just as much excitement there this morning. The students coming out, and all administrators, teachers, coaches, some of the community members for the pancake breakfast, and it's just great to see the support, and then also the program that this has, and that some of these guys are responsible for helping build this program and being a part of it.
Well, I mean, when we were here, we didn't do very good.
Don't let him tell it.
but I mean,
y'all were the best team in the state.
But the thing is, like, these aren't just the top 2 teams in the division. These are some of the top 2 teams in the whole state. And that's pretty remarkable that these guys are in the same division and they can come out here and battle for a district title. But that's why it is like a playoff game, because there's a potential that you'll see the same teams match up again. So it'll be interesting to see what happens tonight. I expect Gilmer to try to get on the edge like how they did last year with Fluellen. A lot of bubble screens, a lot of double or little stop and goes with the receivers, and Tennyson try to get on the outside and spread it out a little bit. So
Exactly, and I think a really big key part of this game for Pleasant Grove is going to be that linebacker core. Got a little bit, the injury bugs bitten that linebacker core a little bit this year, so they're going to have some guys step up at linebacker and hit Gilmer in the mouth. And I think if they can do that early, then they can, like you said, they can shake Tennyson up a little bit and come out on top of this game.
I think missed tackles is what's going to come down tonight. There was a lot of missed tackles in this game last year. Pleasant Grove can't have. 5 missed tackles in this game in open field is going to be too much. Each of these teams have to play a perfect game to win.
Right. Now, turnovers, you can't have turnovers in a game like this. And then most of the time, the basics are already done. But you worry about your special teams, because that can really kill you if you score a field goal or a touchdown. The next thing you know, you kick it off and they run it back. That's can really take the momentum. So
this game's always a little bit odd to me, because you have Gilmer, hurry-up offense. Like, they want as many plays as possible during a football game. Then you have Pleasant Grove on the other hand. They're going to take their time. They're going to use the clock to their advantage. It's complete 180s of the 2 types of offenses we're going to see here tonight.
no doubt. And I expect, I expect Pleasant Grove, like Nick was saying earlier, that they use all their weapons tonight. They really, in some games, they really haven't had to use those guys very much, and I expect that. I expect to see Bordley on the defensive side a lot. You said the inside backer. They've had the injury bug there. I expect him to be on inside backer out there, which creates more speed for that defense, and I think that's what they're going to have tonight. Speed on the defense can take a really fast-paced offense, and it can slow them down a lot.
You mentioned all the head coaches that Gilmer's got. These 2 coaching staffs tonight, they're playing chess.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of teams that these 2 teams tonight are going to play where the other teams may still be playing checkers. So tonight's going to be an interesting matchup just between the coaches, and depending on how the first half handles, I love watching the second half schemes change a little bit to try to take over another team's string.
They'll probably play each other in the third. I can't imagine they won't see each other again in the third round like that. They'll play each other again. Wouldn't you agree?
No doubt.
Oh yeah.
How much do you actually show tonight?
I think you show a lot, because I think it determines like how the playoffs go, and I think it helps confidence levels. I think when you beat a team, I think it helps for the next time you do play them, because there is a chance a high chance that these guys are going to play again in the third round, like you said. And I think when you know that you beat a team, I think, especially in high school, it's gonna take them to the next level, the confidence level, and know that you beat those teams.
Well, Gilmer's won 3 in a row, so I think the kitchen sink's coming from Pleasant Grove.
Oh, yeah. I think you have to come out right here if you're Pleasant Grove, and like Jay said, you have to throw the kitchen sink at them, because you got to win this game. It's too important. It's too important to the seeding, and it's too important to your program. It's too important. You've got the entire city coming out. We had the pancake breakfast this morning. It's all a perfect storm for you to be celebrating on your 50 tonight. So you got to throw everything out and try to get the win.
I mean, you have game of the week in the state of Texas for all divisions. Texas High School or Valley's
Valley Sports.
Valley Sports is going to be here tonight. I mean, it's what Coach Gibson, what the Gilmer coach wants. Like, you want to play under the brightest lights, and this is absolutely it.
So do you show them your trick plays tonight if you have to?
You show 'em
Hopefully you don't need
everything.
them, your trick plays.
You show it all.
But I do think Pleasant Grove has to come out hot. I
do
think Pleasant
too.
Grove
Oh,
has
yeah.
to come out. I mean, they have to come out blazing to beat this Gilmer team because obviously, past 3 years, it's been a struggle for Pleasant Grove. And 2019, when we got beat by 3 points down at Gilmer, I believe that was 19 or 20. But when they got beat down there, and that was a tough one. That was a good game back and forth. And then last year was a little lopsided. So I think tonight we go out and you try to throw everything you have at them, start out hot, and continue to build off of that.
Who has to have their best game tonight?
Jalen Bordley.
Jalen Bordley. And then also, I think another guy to watch tonight for Pleasant Grove, if they can get him involved, coming back, R.J. Collins.
Yeah.
If R.J. Collins can have a big night tonight, that's going to be huge.
Man, I
for the
thought they
Hawks.
weren't getting RJ back for a while.
Yeah, that's a big.
Yeah. If he can move like he did pre-injury, that's a big
Yes.
piece.
His mind just having that senior mind out there as well is going to be huge for the Hawks tonight.
And, I spoke of the basics, but, we got to think about our lines. I mean, if the offensive line and defensive line, if they can put pressure on that quarterback, make him make some mistakes or just, a few sacks or a few forced fumbles or speeding up his throwing mechanism, that's going to be huge.
No doubt.
And the same thing with our offensive line. Those tough guys got to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
And for the life of me, and I apologize to him now, but I can't remember his name, but the nose guard for Gilmer, 300-something pounds. I mean, he's got 8 or 9 quarterback pressures from a nose guard position, and, 28, I think, tackles. I mean, he's just a beast in the middle. So that there could be some opportunities for some traps tonight, letting him get in and then coming in behind him. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Jay, you've watched every single play this football season of the Hawks. Like, what are they great at? What do they have to be great at tonight?
The receivers have to catch the ball. I've seen a lot of missed catches this year, and, that can't happen tonight. And, as far as the greatness goes, Spencer Danner has been extremely, extremely special to the Hawks this year. Yeah. And his ability to be able to have the patience to watch that whole show up for him, and then that second gear that he has once he gets into that second level is pretty astonishing. And if we can see Jalen Bordley whenever we played in Frisco, where he was getting 3 and 4 and 5 yards after the first point of contact, that's the Jalen Bordley I want to see tonight, where he's just knocking heads off after he gets hit the first time.
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, like you said, the biggest surprise obviously all year has been Spencer Danner. The way he's carried himself, the way he's, after impact, like you're saying, like the way he runs the football, he's always falling forward at the end, and that takes a toll on a defense when they see that. If you're constantly getting hit in the mouth over and over and over and over, eventually you're going to cave in. It's just human nature, right? So I think if they continue to do that and the offensive line, like you said, comes out and they hit them in the mouth early on, then I think it's going to be a good night for the Hawks.
Yeah, I think Spencer's won the Texarkana Game Day MVP, correct?
Yeah, he's won it twice.
Twice.
Yeah, he's had 2 games over 200 yards with, I think, 3 rushing TDs in each game. I knew who Spencer was. I didn't, it's funny how much better a player can get from junior to senior year when given the opportunity.
No doubt.
I remember the first time I saw him run the ball this year, I knew who he was, but I couldn't really remember watching him play. And immediately I was like, oh, God, who's this kid?
And that's why games are so important, because people don't get those. In practice, you can do this so much, but then when you get in a game and you show that you can do it under the lights, it's a whole different thing. And he's came to play this year, and he stepped up to the table. It's been awesome.
Exactly. And since we're talking about the running game, another guy or a few guys who have stepped up this year, you got to talk about the offensive line. You got Matthew Lingle right there at center, and you got big Caleb Hackelman out there on the outside. Those guys have really stepped up to the plate this year and progressed the running game.
Defense was one thing we hadn't even talked about. Defensive side of the ball, Vic Shaw has to have a big game tonight.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to get pressure.
Yep.
Like, he's got to shine if anybody's going to.
He was on the morning show, and I think a lot of them had their game faces on.
No doubt. Either that or they were tired.
Right. And one thing we did ask Coach is, how do you have all this excitement and keep their adrenaline down just so much? But he said, they've been practicing for it, and they're ready. But you could tell those players are ready to go.
Yeah. Well, let's do this. Let's take a quick break, and we will come right back and have head coach Josh Gibson on with us.
We are back at Hawk Stadium, and we've got Josh Gibson here to
two-time state champion.
Give us some nuggets of knowledge about tonight's game and what he expects. Coach, welcome aboard, and what are you thinking about tonight's game?
I think it's going to be an awesome atmosphere. I think that's the first thing that is going to grab the attention of our fans is how packed out this place is going to be. I think gates are opening right now at 6:30, and this place will be full and filled up, and just atmosphere 2 and 3 going at it in state. We got Bally Sports here covering it. Got our game day crew started with us this morning, covering it during the game, pregame. So it's awesome.
And one thing I've always loved since we started game day is, like, you are not afraid to play the big games. I know Gilmer's in district, but even if they weren't, I know you'd play them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I know you'd play Carthage if you had to play in the fourth round. Like, you'll schedule anybody.
Yep.
But we all know, like, this game, they've taken 2 weeks off for it. You made sure it was your bye week. Everybody in this stadium knows how important this game is.
Yep.
Tell me about the week of practice with all that being said.
It's been awesome. I think the bye week last week, we could kill our kids off and said, hey, the next game's Gilmer, or handle it like it should be handled, and start preparing for them and give the kids a little wind under their sails. And so we did a little of both, and I think it worked out perfect. And then this week it was grind time. Let's get after it and kind of capitalize on some of the schematic stuff we installed last week. And they did an awesome job of that. The way it fell with it being the first district game, we draw out of a hat. And so they drew on video. We were at kind of doing one of those deals where everybody jumps on a Zoom, and they pulled, and it was Gilmer PG the first week. There was a bye week that was going to be before it, and then they chose not to play a fifth game, and so that gave them an additional week. And I think that can go one of two ways. But everybody kept asking us questions about, man, it's a big game for the first one and not the last one. And it's like, we got to play them all anyway.
Yeah.
And this is a great way to come back home after not being here a month and getting this game in for our fans and then bringing them back for the last 2 home games. You know, so this big environment continues because once people experience it, they want to come back. It's awesome.
Yeah, Coach, we were talking about the excitement and the enthusiasm this morning at the breakfast, and just you said you got your guys ready, but we could tell, you know, they had their game faces on, so they're keeping that on for tonight, right?
Yeah, and like we said, they need to enjoy all that stuff. But when they came out here a minute ago, they're gonna be ready. They're ready, and I'm excited. You know, the last 2 years we played with a lot of young kids, and I say we graduated a ton after that 19 year, and so there's so many new faces. And last year was just a really young team, and so many of these guys experienced this in the playoffs and took a huge step from Gilmer 1 game last year to Gilmer 2 game, and now it's like, hey, let's go take another big step, and we needed to. But I think it's going to be a really, really good football game tonight.
Yeah. So, I mean, when we talk about big games, you know, like as a player, obviously we all played football. Like when you think of big games, like you constantly think of the first play, and you constantly think of like what you're going to do in the game and like how you're going to attack it. And you know, what are those things that you're thinking about and how you want your team to attack tonight?
So we started last week, and I mean, you know how we are with messages and what we're trying to get our kids to grasp. And our 4 core values are what we're always going to go back to. But the biggest one for this week in this type of game, like belief just shouted out to us. Kids have to believe in themselves, not play with fear. Believe that what we've done and what they're capable of doing, and then go do it. And so we had a coach every day pretty much give a sermon on belief in the morning and then come back and hit them again in the afternoon on kind of a part 2 of that deal. And it just built and built and built. And so I think still we have 18 underclassmen starting, a lot of young kids, and to give them confidence in themselves and for them to have reasons to buy into each other. And some of it was just showing highlights, man, of what they've done this year in big moments. And then showing some stuff from the past, and they loved it and ate it up. And they got that look in their eye. It's not – you can't fake it, right? You can't fake belief. It doesn't last, but I think our kids are believing tonight.
Awesome. Coach, it seems like every year you just have a knack for this. Like you have showmanship. All eyes in the state of Texas are once again on Pleasant Grove High School in Texarkana. Year in, year out, it's like the same thing. Like how do you formulate this up every year? It's like you just know it's going to happen.
Well, it's hard to find games, so we're going to have to be in a bunch of big ones. and this is one of them. But I'll tell you what, this is the first time that I've been coaching that I have not been filled with a few butterflies on a state game, and I think that is a testament to a lot of what's going on in our program. Spiritually, we got our minds right, and we've poured so much into these kids. We've had kids make decisions and become saved, and we know what the big deal is. We know most people in this stadium aren't going to care what happens at Allen and Aledo and South Lake Carroll and all that tonight. And at the end of the day, it's really not about, the end-all be-all of what happens out here. We prepared for it as hard as we can. Our kids are going to go enjoy it. But playing the right way, growing together, and doing things right, I think that's given us peace. It's given us joy. And the kids are having more fun with it this year, and the coaches are too. And I think it's because we're truly honoring God in the way we're doing things. And we're falling short in a lot of areas still, but we're taking that step and submitting, and it's been awesome, man.
And I think that's why you see a lot of support from the community. So many people do appreciate that and do understand that you're getting these kids prepared for life.
Yep. And you know that support stops, though, after the first bad call tonight, right? Because those same people will be yelling at us and saying all the plays that we need to be running and what we need to be doing different. But I think the peace of mind comes from, it's like, man, we're going full tilt and doing the best we can, and we know we're going to screw up, but we're doing it with love in our heart for these kids and trying to grow them as best we can. Have a great experience doing it. They only have a few more games out here if they're a senior, So we gotta make sure it's fun.
But that's what's so awesome about Coach Gibson, and I wanted to just say that because it's not about what's going to happen or the inning scores, because you're putting the best what you can put out there, and that's what the thing is them growing and them becoming better men for themselves, and that's what's been so awesome about having you as the head coach, because we haven't necessarily had that in the past here at Pleasant Grove, and having you be able to grow them as men and not just football players. And ultimately, they're going to be better football players because of that, because they've grown. And we just want to say thank you as a Pleasant Grove alumni, as a Texarkana person here, and it's been awesome to see.
Well, okay, let me say thank you back to you guys, too, though. One, everything that's going to be packed in this stadium, that's a blessing, and our kids, they're going to look up there, and they help create that environment, too, the coaches and kids. And so for this to be packed out, that's a blessing from our community, the support that we get, from you guys, sponsors and community members and people that went to school here. It's unmatched. And then to create something like this that happened, 3-4 years ago, and it blow up into what it has, where we have guys in Florida and across state, like our kids, they're getting some really cool experiences, and we got to thank you too. So thank you guys for what y'all do, and thank you for the support y'all give us.
Well, and they get a lot of recognition, and
big time,
which also allows them a chance to play at a college and take it to the next step and the next level. And so, as a community member and somebody who's deeply rooted here, for us, we enjoy doing it. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to do it, and we've supported Morgan from day one.
Mm-hmm. Well, game day wouldn't be a thing without Coach Gibson letting us do it. And then Dr. Young coming on immediately. I mean, sponsoring it when there wasn't really a reason to. We were just kind of new, taking a chance on it. I appreciate both of you, man. Yeah. Coach, we were talking about this earlier. Who has to have the game of their life tonight?
Whew, man, holy smokes. I would say Lucas probably knows I'm saying, be all of them. I mean, when you're playing in this type of game and you have 2 and 3 going at each other, 2 of the best in the nation or the state or whatever it is, everybody really has to play well. I think we're going to see a breakout game from Makari. We've really held him back, and, the pony hadn't been let loose on the track yet, and you've seen glimpses. But, one, we didn't want to get him hurt. We've held a lot of schematic stuff back where we've looked super vanilla like we have the last 2 years because of limitations. But here we've been holding stuff back because somebody gets 3 weeks to prepare for us that's a really good staff, and you don't want to give them too much. So we're going to have some wrinkles that we haven't done yet, but I expect he's going to have a breakout game. My dad retired at Christmas, been coaching 47 years, and he left our Bible study on Thursday, and he looked at us and said, guys, if in doubt, give it to number 2. and I'm like, there's probably a lot more wisdom than just that simple statement, but we have a lot of dudes, and the Boardleys, the Danners, the McFaddens, our linemen up front that are so powerful, Big Vic, Lance, but I think if this thing's going to roll the way it needs to, Akari's going to have a really big game, and I think he will. I mean, he's a special guy.
So I think you answered our question. In pregame we were talking, are you going to hold back or are you going to show them what you have?
Yeah, tonight it's all about letting it go, and there's nothing left to hold back in this type of game. You gotta throw it all out there, man. All your cards on the table, and that's the full tilt part of it. If you don't see it tonight, we probably don't have it. And saying that, I know this it's live, but probably not gonna throw a ton. Just because we're going to try to run over Cats, and we're gonna have some big plays in the passing game, I believe. But with the design of what we have, I think our dudes are buying into that. If we're going to be more physical, we're going to win.
I've been telling everybody you're going 5 wide tonight.
Yeah. Hey, they might be disappointed.
Hey, listen, I was on a 2-hour flight today, and hour and 45 minutes we were talking about this game tonight. Everybody's talking about this game. I'm excited to be here, and I know you're a busy man. We're going to let you get back to pregame, brother. We appreciate you.
All right, guys. I appreciate you guys.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank
you.
We'll
be right back.
No. Thanks, man.
Life is busy, and we get it. The State Bank mobile app was designed to make banking more convenient for you. Check account activity, make transfers, pay bills, and manage your debit card in a snap. You can deposit checks from the convenience of your home or wherever life lands you. The State Bank app lets you organize your accounts, manage alerts, and easily email our customer service experts. Now that you have State Bank at your fingertips, you can spend more time doing what's important to you.
Your family, your bank, State Bank.
And we are back at Hawk Stadium for our last segment of the game. We are 45 minutes away from kickoff and bringing in the big dog of the district, Mr. Purtle. How are you doing this evening?
I'm living the dream. Glad to be here, and I think we have a lot of big dogs in the district. We have a lot of really important people that I'm just blessed to be a part of a school district like we have, and be able to share that with the other big dogs in the district.
Yes, sir. We talked to you a little bit earlier this morning about what this game meant to you and what this game meant to the district. We see right now the stands are already filling up. We're 45 minutes away from kickoff. How does that make you feel?
Well, it just makes me feel proud. Pleasant Grove, we're gonna show up tonight, and it just really makes me feel proud that the community is already out supporting. I talked this morning, and really it's about the experience for the kids and the experience for the community to have number 2 and number 3 playing. I mean, Valley Sports is here, and they're going to close down their show on Hawk Field out here tonight, and that's pretty special. But like our student section's ready, our fans are ready, our band's ready. There's a lot of energy. We have some new fan stuff. Our top fans are going to have a special place tonight to lead our student section, but really excited about this football game and what Coach Gibson and the crew is going to be able to do tonight.
Yeah, we had a great time this morning, and just maybe share as we see this starting to fill up, and we know it's a sold-out game. Tell us some other growth that's going on in Pleasant Grove.
Well, and before we go too far, I just want to thank Texarkana Game Day for coming out this morning and being here today, and Texarkana Emergency Center and Hospital, for Dr. Young, you for supporting school districts and supporting Pleasant Grove and being here tonight also. But as far as growth, we passed the bond back in May, and that was huge, and want to thank the community for the support that they gave our school district to be able to expand our facilities for our students. We have broken ground. If you drive around to the back of the high school, our CTE addition to our high school is our career and technical education. We've broken ground on that. They're getting the dirt ready and getting ready to lay a foundation down there to start building up, and that's exciting. Next week, just north of the football stadium, you're going to see trees start coming down for the new baseball, softball, track, and practice complex that we're moving from the middle school over to the high school. It's going to be a nice place back there for our kids and our coaches and our community, and really a source of pride for us. And then we should have numbers back on the field house that just down here in the north end zone we're going to be constructing here pretty soon, and in hopes of having that up and rolling at some point during football season next year.
That's amazing growth, though. It really is. It is. It speaks well to you and your team, the school board, and then, other administrators, and also the community, the teachers, the students, and just really growth has been great for PG, and we're just proud to be able to help support it.
Well, thank you, and we do have a wonderful school board, people that love Pleasant Grove, people that love our community, people that love our kids, and really support what we're doing for kids in our district. We're very blessed with that.
I saw the I don't know how, but I saw the specs of the end zone, or the I guess the new facility that's going to be brought up in there, and I just let you know that thing's going to be definitely top of the line. It's going to be pretty sweet. They said that maybe we'll be up there on one of those looking out. I guess we'll be giving the pregame talk on one of the ledges that looks over the football stadium.
I hadn't thought about it, but that could be a pretty neat thing to set up there, and I bet we could entertain that for sure. But it's good. The field house down there is going to have upstairs. It's going to be a 2-story building, and upstairs is going to be a large room that we're going to be able to use for training, for district purposes, but also for potentially like a night like tonight, where the Athletic Booster Club is up having barbecue dinners for fans who want to participate in that, and maybe at some point we can have it up there in that field house, and so that'll be really nice thing that we're going to have access to here before long.
So as a superintendent, I think all of us have already said we circled this game on our calendar, but as a superintendent, do you circle games on the calendar as well?
Well, when you look at what the big games are, when the schedule comes out, realignment comes out, and to say that a superintendent doesn't care about that is not telling the truth, because we do care about that. But just the battles that we've had with Gilmer over the years is that one's going to be a big one. Yeah. My first year in 19, we had them, and we were on a run, and had them, I think, for about 5 games in a row, and then they got us the last few, and I do think that we're maybe a lot better than we were the last time we played them, and I'm pretty excited to send our boys out and see what the Hawks can do tonight.
Most definitely. I wanted to ask you that too, because I know you don't miss a game. From week 1 down at Brock to now, what have you seen from the Hawks?
I've seen adjustments. I've seen this isn't working like we wanted to work, so let's move a few pieces around, and you see the coaches putting their players in positions to be successful, and then you see that success happen behind that. I know they moved the offensive line around a little bit. Also, I just think you see the maturity of the kids. I think you see the belief in the kids, and that they believe. Like from that game against Brock to right now, we're a much better football team than we were when we played Brock and beat Brock. And it's just really just seeing that growth week over week over week, and that's nice to see. But I'll tell you, kind of an interesting thing that not a lot of people have talked about is, we're coming off of a bye week, and Coach Gibson, he said, man, we really needed that bye week. We needed to break. We've been grinding for so long. Yep. But Gilmer's been on a bye week for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And whenever you don't play a football game for 3 weeks, it'd be interesting to see how they react to that. And, Gilmer's they know how to play football over there, and their coaching staff knows how to coach over there. And I don't know how big of a factor that will be, but I do think it is a factor.
21 days is a long time.
I think it's a huge factor because, I think your conditioning level of playing a game, it's almost like playing a first game over again. And everybody knows how the first games go. They might not be rusty on the playbook and things like that, but conditioning level, cramps, things like that come into play late in the game when you haven't played for so long, And the only way to get in shape in football is to play games. That's the only way to be able to do that. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens tonight. I think it's a huge factor.
Oh yeah, it can go one or two ways. Either they're gonna come out extra sluggish because they've been off for 2 weeks and you can't emulate their game speed, or they're gonna come out firing on all cylinders because they're well rested. And kind of like Coach Gibson said with the Hawks, they needed that break because they've gone through some battles to this point. So they're well rested and they're ready to get back after it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a toss-up. It's going to be interesting.
And I think for the most part, we're pretty healthy, thanks to Stephanie Bridges, her training staff, Dr. Young, Texarkana Emergency Center and Hospital, and the work that they help us with there. And that I think that's big for us. Obviously, we have a player or two that's down right now, but for the most part, we're pretty healthy.
Yeah, and they do a great job. And then, again, if there's an acute injury, we'll always see that and then refer them on usually to Dr. Trey Mitchell. And then, if it's orthopedic-wise, he's going to take care of it and make sure that they're healthy. But just to change the subject a little bit, we're all here for the football game, but I know you have so many other programs that you're so very proud of. They just said the Pride in Motion Band. So why don't you tell us a little bit about all the other activities going on in the district?
Yeah, and just out here tonight, that's what's beautiful about a Friday night is you have the Pride in Motion Band and Jay Sutton, who's our band director now, and you've seen their improvement too over the year, over the football season. And then the showstoppers and the cheerleaders, I'll put them up against anybody's dance team and anybody's cheerleaders. They're well coached and do a really good job. When you jump inside of the school, I'm really proud of our growth that we've had in our literacy initiative and our reading programs in the district. And it seems so basic, but it's so important, and it can't be overlooked. And how our teachers are instructing kids so, I'd say so scientifically, but and what's great about it is the results that we're seeing and the growth that we're seeing in our kids that we haven't seen before. And what our kids are getting in their classrooms is different. I'm just telling you, it's different. And so I'm really proud of our teachers, our administrators for doing the work and doing the work that impacts kids, and that's going to impact kids for the rest of their lives. And so that's pretty exciting. That's pretty exciting.
It's awesome.
Well, what else is going on besides our crowd filling up tonight? I mean, as far as just district-wide, I mean.
I failed to mention volleyball. Volleyball is a pretty young team, but they are running off a lot of wins this year. I think I'm going to miss it, but
undefeated in district.
Undefeated in district, 4-0, but they're 24, 25, and 7 or something like that, I think. I mean, they've played some really good ball, and they're fun to watch, too.
Yeah.
I was up here on Tuesday watching them play Sulphur Springs, and really proud of them. Our cross-country teams, that program is growing, and it's fun. I think they were up in Fayetteville this past weekend and had a big meet up there. But
Tennis just one district, correct, or something?
Their first district of the year. They've got 2 district plays. They've won their first district.
Yeah, for the 5th year in a row or something.
Yeah.
Is that? I think I read that.
Tennis
right?
program is blowing up. We have so much participation in tennis, and so, man, and it comes down to leadership, and it comes down to Kristen Giles, our high school principal, who is amazing. She is amazing, and it comes down to people like Josh Gibson, who. Does he care about football? Absolutely, he cares about football. And can't really argue that. But I promise you, a lot of athletic directors don't care about volleyball or don't care about basketball or don't care about baseball. But I promise you, Josh Gibson cares about all of them, and he wants all of them to be good, and he supports them. And so we talk about all the successes that our kids are having. And it's because of those coaches, and Coach Gibson is the athletic director, but it is because of him and his team of coaches that he has that make such an impact in the lives of our kids.
Well, and that's what we talked about earlier when he was here, how much we appreciate him, but appreciate you and, again, the school board and everybody else, because y'all are preparing these kids not just for their time here on the field or their time in the classroom, but preparing them for being an adult in the world out there, and then going to the next level, getting a job and having a family and making them believe in their faith and, better themselves. So we appreciate that, and just, support the program and look for PG to go get a win tonight.
Well, that'd be nice. That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. But nice springboard into district, kicking district off. So
we appreciate all the time that you give us, and just allowing game day to be able to come in and help support these young people. And it's fun for me just to be able to talk to all the different students, and especially when we can start comparing, one year to the next. There's one running back, and I'm not going to pick on him too much, but I love the growth that I saw him make from the time that he was a freshman until the time that he was a senior. That we were able to talk to him. And thankfully, I've also gotten a little bit better as well. So that makes it that much better in the workplace for me. But what do you see that makes Pleasant Grove different than another district?
I think our community holds a very high standard, and I think our community drives a high standard of the schools. And I think we respond to that high standard. I had a student who's going to school to be a superintendent, and he spent the day with me, shadowing me, and we came to the pep rally this afternoon, and I just asked him kind of about at the end of it, really close to the end of it. I said, "What are your impressions?" He said, "I'm so impressed by your students." And how well behaved and how mannerly they were and how excited they are about tonight, but how they handled themselves. I'm so impressed with your students. He said, look, they're exiting right now, and you don't have a whole lot of people working an exit or anything. They just know what to do. When they came in, they just came in and did what they're supposed to do. And I think that's different from a lot of schools. I think that's different, and I think that's something that, as a parent, you want your child to be a part of. And I think this athletic program, as a parent, you want your child to be a part of. The academic program and the growth that we're seeing on every campus across the district, that's, as a parent, that's what you want your child to be a part of. And so I think it goes back to the community and the expectation of the community. I think it goes back to our board and the expectation of our board and having high standards for our school district. And I think it goes to our campus leadership and the leadership they provide there. And then ultimately it comes down to what happens in the classroom. And those teachers, the teachers are the program in Pleasant Grove. Their teachers are the program in a school. And so I'm really proud of the growth that we've had in our teachers. And I think those things set Pleasant Grove apart.
Well, I'm biased. For me, it's easy to love PG. And so that's what creates that excitement for me and everything that I see the district achieve. And see what the students achieve and see what the district is able to provide. But, once again, thank you for the time, and we're looking forward to a great game tonight. And make sure and stay tuned so you can catch the game tonight.
I just want to say one more thing. I just want to thank Texarkana Game Day, because I've said it from the beginning. You always tell the good stories. You tell the good stories on our kids or our schools, and not everybody does that. They go looking for the bad. And so I just celebrate Texarkana Game Day for being that good story for not just Pleasant Grove, but for all the schools that you cover. And so I celebrate you for that.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. And we will cut this segment, and next time you see us, we'll be live for the game.